Last month, a woman named Gloria sent me a message that kept me up at night. She is 68 years old. She worked as a housekeeper in New Jersey for over 20 years, paid into Social Security every single paycheck. Her green card was her pride. She told her family back in the Dominican Republic that she had made it. Then her mother got sick. Gloria flew home to take care of her. She planned to stay 3 months, but her mother's condition got worse, and 3 months turned into 4, then 5, then 7. When Gloria finally returned to Newark Airport, 2 things happened that changed her life. Her Social Security check had stopped coming 2 months earlier, and the border agent pulled her aside and told her that her permanent resident status was now under review. Gloria had no idea either of those things could happen. She thought her green card protected her. She thought her Social Security was guaranteed because she earned it. She was wrong on both counts. I am sharing Gloria's story because what happened to her is not rare. It is not an edge case or a technicality. It is a growing pattern that is hitting retired green card holders over 60 harder than any other group. And the reason it is getting worse in 2026 is that the United States government now has technology that tracks every single day you spend outside the country. There is no more flying under the radar. There is no more hoping nobody noticed you were gone too long. The system sees everything now, and it acts on what it sees. So if you have a green card, if you are retired or close to retirement, or if someone in your family fits that description, what I am about to explain could save you from losing everything you spent decades building. Stay with me because every detail matters. Here is the part most people get wrong. They think Social Security is like a savings account. You put money in, you get money out, no matter what. But that is not how it works for green card holders. United States citizens can collect their Social Security retirement benefits from almost anywhere on the planet. They can move to Portugal, retire in Thailand, live in Mexico, and that monthly check keeps coming. But if you are a permanent resident and not a citizen, the rules are completely different. The Social Security Administration has a provision that most people have never heard of. It says that if you are a non-citizen and you remain outside the United States for 6 consecutive calendar months, your retirement benefits will be suspended, not reduced, not delayed, completely cut off starting on the first day of that 7th month. Think about what that means for someone like Gloria. She spent 20 years paying into the system, every paycheck, every quarter, building up her credits. And after just 7 months away caring for her sick mother, the check stopped. No warning letter arrived at her door in Santo Domingo. No phone call from the Social Security Administration saying, "Hey, you are about to lose your benefits." The payment simply did not arrive 1 month, and when she called to ask why, they told her she had been outside the country too long. Getting those payments started again is not instant either. You have to physically return to the United States and remain in the country for at least 1 full calendar month, not a few days. Not a quick visit, an entire calendar month from the first day to the last day. Only then does the Social Security Administration begin processing the reinstatement of your benefits. And depending on how backed up they are, it can take additional weeks after that before the money actually shows up in your account. During that entire period, you are receiving nothing. Now, there is a detail here that could save some of you depending on where you are from. The United States has agreements with roughly 30 countries called totalization agreements. If you are a citizen of one of those countries, your Social Security payments may continue even while you are living abroad. Countries like Canada, the United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, Australia, South Korea, and several others in Europe are covered. But if your home country is not on that list, and many countries in Latin America, Africa, and Asia are not, then the 6-month cutoff applies to you with no exceptions. I would strongly encourage you to look up whether your country has a totalization agreement with the United States before you plan any extended trip. But here is where things get really complicated, and this is the part that caught Gloria completely off guard. Losing her Social Security was painful, but what happened at the airport was terrifying. Because when a green card holder stays outside the United States for more than 180 days, the government can presume that you abandoned your permanent residence. They call this a rebuttable presumption. which sounds like legal jargon until you realize what it actually means. It means the burden of proof flips. Instead of the government having to prove you left permanently, you have to prove that you intended to come back. And you have to do it right there, standing in front of a Customs and Border Protection officer, exhausted from your flight, probably nervous, probably not expecting any of this. The officer will ask you questions. Where do you live in the United States? What is your address? Do you have a job here? Do you pay rent or a mortgage? When was the last time you filed taxes? Do you have a bank account that is currently active? If your answers are vague, or if you hesitate, or if the information does not match what they see in the system, that officer has the authority to begin removal proceedings against you. Removal proceedings. That is the legal term for the process that can lead to deportation. All because you stayed with your family a few weeks longer than you should have. And in 2026, this has become significantly more dangerous because of a new technology that went fully operational at every major United States airport, seaport, and land border crossing. Starting in late 2025, the Department of Homeland Security activated a mandatory biometric entry and exit system for all non-citizens, including green card holders. Every time you leave and every time you return, your face is scanned, your fingerprints may be taken, and that data is matched against your entire travel history in real time. The system now knows exactly how many days you were gone. There is no ambiguity. There is no discretion. The number is sitting right there on the officer's screen when you walk up to the booth. Before this system existed, some people could stretch their trips a little past 6 months and come back without major problems. Maybe the officer did not check closely. Maybe the records were incomplete. That era is finished. The biometric system has closed that gap permanently. What makes this situation especially cruel is that these two systems, Social Security and immigration, operate completely independently from each other. The Social Security Administration does not notify USCIS when they suspend your benefits, and USCIS does not alert Social Security when they flag your green card. So you can be hit by both at the same time without either agency knowing or caring what the other one did. It is a double trap that closes from two directions simultaneously, and the people it hurts most are the ones who can least afford it. Retirees, seniors, people on fixed incomes who traveled to see their families and had no idea what was waiting for them when they came back. So what do you do? How do you protect yourself from falling into this trap? I want to walk through the specific steps because vague advice is useless when the stakes are this high. The most critical rule is the 180-day limit. Keep every trip abroad under 6 months. That single number is the dividing line between being safe and being vulnerable on both the Social Security side and the immigration side. If your trip is under 6 months, your benefits continue and your green card status remains secure. The moment you cross that line, both systems can turn against you. If you absolutely must stay abroad longer than 6 months, there is a document called a re-entry permit. You apply for it using Form I-131, and it must be filed while you are still inside the United States before you travel. A re-entry permit is valid for up to 2 years, and it protects your green card from being automatically considered abandoned. But pay close attention to this next part because it trips people up constantly. A re-entry permit protects your green card. It does not protect your Social Security. Those benefits still stop at 6 months regardless of any permit you hold. The two systems do not talk to each other, and they do not honor each other's documents. Taxes are the second piece of this puzzle, and they matter more than most retirees realize. Even if you earned absolutely nothing last year, you should still file a federal tax return. Form 1040 with zero income reported. It sounds pointless, but from an immigration standpoint, it is one of the most powerful pieces of evidence you can have. USCIS now cross-references your records with the IRS. If there is a gap in your tax filings, they can interpret that as a sign you were not living in the country. For a retired person who thinks they have nothing to report, skipping the tax return feels harmless. But it can be the exact thing that raises a red flag when you are standing at the border trying to explain why you were gone for 7 months. While we are talking about protecting yourself during travel, let me mention something that has made a real difference for a lot of people I hear from. Between immigration rules, TSA policies, baggage regulations, airline rights during cancellations, medication rules at security checkpoints, and all the other things that change every year, keeping track of everything is overwhelming. Especially for travelers over 60 who are dealing with enough already. There is a resource called the Airport Survival Guide that pulls together 47 strategies, rights, and insider tips covering everything from what to pack to what to say when things go wrong at the gate. I have recommended it to dozens of travelers, and the response has been consistently positive. If navigating airports and airlines with confidence sounds like something you need, the link is right there in the description and pinned at the top of the comments. All right, back to the protections. Your physical address in the United States matters more than you might think. It is not enough to have a mailing address at your cousin's house. Immigration officers want proof that you maintain an actual residence. That means a lease or mortgage in your name, utility bills showing recent activity, mail being delivered to an address tied directly to you. If you sublet your apartment while you are abroad, or worse, if you let your lease expire and cancel your utilities, you are handing the government exactly the evidence they need to argue that you abandoned your residence. Even if you were only planning to be gone for a few months, the paper trail tells a different story. Banking activity is another major indicator. Keep at least one United States bank account open and active with regular transactions. This does not require large deposits, a monthly streaming subscription, a phone bill. Even a small automatic transfer to a savings account creates a pattern of financial activity that shows you are still connected to the country. Immigration officers and even Social Security caseworkers look at this kind of thing. A dormant bank account is a red flag. An active one is a shield. Your driver's license or state identification card is one more piece of the puzzle that retired green card holders tend to overlook. If your license expires while you are abroad and you do not renew it, that tells the government you are not maintaining the basic documents that a resident would keep current. Some states require you to appear in person to renew, so make sure you handle it before any extended travel. Now, I want to address something that comes up constantly, and it is a situation that affects millions of people. What if you never worked enough in the United States to qualify for Social Security? Maybe your children brought you here through family sponsorship. Maybe you arrived later in life and only worked a few years or not at all. To qualify for Social Security retirement benefits, you need 40 work credits, which is roughly 10 years of employment where you paid into the system. If you do not have those credits, you are not receiving Social Security payments, so the 6-month suspension rule does not directly affect you. But do not let that give you a false sense of security. The green card abandonment rules apply to every permanent resident regardless of whether you receive benefits or not. You still cannot stay abroad for more than 6 months without putting your status at risk. And if you are receiving supplemental security income, known as SSI, the rules are even harsher. SSI is a needs-based program for seniors over 65 with very limited income. Unlike regular Social Security, SSI benefits stop the instant you leave the United States. Not after 6 months, immediately. If you are outside the country for 30 consecutive days, your SSI is terminated completely. To get it restarted, you must return and be physically present in the United States for at least 30 days. For elderly green card holders who depend on SSI to pay for food and medicine, even a short trip abroad can have devastating financial consequences. There is one more layer that specifically affects retired green card holders in 2026. And it involves the public charge rule. The current administration has expanded what counts as a negative factor in immigration reviews. If you have received certain government benefits like Medicaid, SNAP food assistance, TANF, or housing vouchers for 12 months or more within any 36-month period, that can be used against you during a green card renewal or a citizenship application. For retirees living on limited income, this creates an impossible choice. You may genuinely need these programs to survive, but using them for too long could complicate your immigration future. It is not fair, but it is the current reality, and knowing about it is the first step toward navigating it wisely. The single most effective thing any green card holder can do to permanently escape all of these traps is to become a United States citizen. Once you naturalize, Social Security payments follow you anywhere in the world with no 6-month cutoff. The green card abandonment issue disappears entirely because you no longer hold a green card. And the public charge rule becomes irrelevant because citizens cannot be deported for receiving government assistance. If you have been a lawful permanent resident for at least 5 years, or 3 years if married to a citizen, you are likely eligible to apply. The process involves filing Form N-400, attending an interview, and passing a civics and English test. The filing fee is around $790, though fee waivers exist for people with limited income. Study materials for the test are available at no cost from the USCIS website, and many community organizations offer free classes specifically for seniors. I know this is a lot of information, and I know it can feel overwhelming, especially if you are already retired and just want to enjoy your life without worrying about losing everything you built. But the reality is that the system does not send reminders. Nobody from the Social Security Administration is going to call you before your 6th month abroad and tell you to come home. Nobody from USCIS is going to tap you on the shoulder and warn you that your green card is at risk. These are silent traps that only become visible after they have already closed around you. So here is what I need you to do. If any part of this video applies to you, take action this week, not next month, not when you get around to it. Check your tax filings. Verify your bank account is active. Confirm your license is current. Count the days on your next trip. And if you are eligible for citizenship, start the conversation with an immigration attorney or a community organization that offers free consultations. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, a parent, an uncle, a neighbor, someone at church, send them this video right now. Because the difference between keeping your benefits and losing them, between coming home safely and being questioned at the border, often comes down to information that nobody ever told you existed. Now you have it. What you do with it is up to you. Thank you for trusting me with your time, and I will keep bringing you the information that matters most.